1-month hiatus. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
How you like the new digs?
Unbelievable.
Pretty cool, right?
Like really, I don't know if the word space age or I don't know.
It's all new stuff.
Hold on, I got you real close to the camera. Let me adjust that real quick.
Same old awful talent behind the mics, all new equipment. That's the best part of it. Dr. Berglund, for those of you who maybe are new to the show, is am I correct when I call you a surgical urologist?
Yeah, right.
A surgical urologist from the Cleveland Clinic who is doing this segment with us for a long time, and then COVID kind of shut everything down. February of 2020 was the last time you were here for Is It Red? And so I initially texted Ryan. I said, hey, when we get to the new studios, because it was a lot of kicking that can down the road, you're going to be the first guest we have in the new studios. And then we had some other, scheduling issues or whatever.
Alan's a liar.
I'm a liar, is what I'm trying to say. But he's back. It's a segment that we call Is It Red?
Is it red? Does it itch? Does it hurt like a bitch? Is it red? Is it red? Is it red?
And what we do is we have guys, and some women will call too, with some issues that they've got going on down there. And invariably, you might have to cast your mind back if you remember the segment, but we would get some regular callers, which is not the segment that I thought we'd get regular callers. But we'd get some people who would call to extol the virtues of Dr. Ryan Berglund. They would give him all the accolades, saying, hey, I went to go see you, and guess what? That problem, I don't have it anymore. I'm not dead, whatever. So if you've got an issue with stuff going on down there, you can call, and Poundcake will screen your call, 216-578-1007 or 800-348-1007. You can text me. This is a great time for you to avail yourself of Dr. Berglund's time and abilities. And I got a lot of email to start with because people were like, I can't listen live, but it made me happy because I got to reopen my Is It Red email folder.
It's been so long.
It's been so long. I went to my urologist, and I found out that my testosterone was extremely low. They told me I couldn't take straight testosterone because it would decrease my sperm count and make it harder to make babies.
So they got to take gay testosterone?
So they put me on Clomid, which is typically for women, but it definitely got my testosterone up, and I feel better. Is that a good long-term treatment for low T?
The answer is if it's working, yes. Because that will not shut down the ability of the testicles to make sperm.
Okay.
So it's a fantastic treatment.
What do they use Clomid for in women?
It's a hormonal agent that essentially allows the hormonal axis that stimulates the production of estrogen, or in this case testosterone, to continue.
Is it like a postmenopausal type situation, or
it's used for a number of reasons? I actually I don't prescribe it very often, but it's used in our young men that have low testosterone. Our older guys that are past childbearing age, the easier thing to do is just go on testosterone.
How do you know if you have low testosterone?
First thing is low libido.
You're not horny anymore.
You're not horny. So it's not really an erection problem. It's a problem with desire. Another one is low energy, but everybody has low energy. I have low energy. A lot of guys with normal testosterone levels have low energy.
Right.
But the classic is diminished libido.
So you can't not read stories every single day, and I feel like a lot of it maybe is psychosomatic from the aftermath of COVID or whatever, but you read more. Maybe I'm just seeing them more frequently. I don't know if they're being put out more frequently, whatever, about how like across the board, testosterone levels are not what they were. Sperm counts are not what they were. Is that just a function of just time and climate and everything else that people consume and goes in, or are there ebbs and flows to that? If you'll pardon the pun.
We don't know, but it is true. Sperm counts have gone down. Fertility rates have gone down. Is it something in the environment? We don't know.
Yeah. But it's more than anecdotal.
It's concerning.
Yeah.
And, birth rates are going down worldwide.
Whoa.
And there was a time where we thought
children of men up in here.
There was a time where we thought that would be a good thing, but it's causing problems in countries like Italy, China,
Japan.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Why is it causing problems?
Because you have a mismatch between older people and younger people.
You need a workforce.
You need a workforce,
Yeah.
and it's a real problem in Japan, and that's leading to a lot of automation in Japan right now.
That's why they're buying their panties from the machines now.
They're not getting them off real live girls.
No more
anymore.
mom and pop shops.
No more mom and pop panty shops.
Yeah, you gotta go to the vending machines.
Yeah. Is there any
and they're
way?
robot panties because there's no one to wear them.
Abort. Literally. Somebody texted, is there any way to combat antidepressant sexual side effects? That's a big complaint people have, right? They get on antidepressants and they're like, I can't get it up. I don't want to have sex in it, whatever.
And you know, the interesting side note to that is that a frequent call we get here is the premature ejaculation problem.
Yeah.
And what is the treatment for that?
Antidepressants. Right.
So first of all, if it's critical that you be on the antidepressant, just don't go off it, spontaneously without medical advice. But
they're like, I feel better. I won't take these anymore.
Or I'm having sexual dysfunction. Let's go. If you're really profoundly depressed, you don't want to go off the medication. But oftentimes it's just you need to change the drug, and there's usually an alternative that doesn't cause the same problem.
Hey, Randy.
Hey, how you doing, Alan?
Hey, it's Intense Randy.
Yes, it is.
What's up, pal?
Hey, how you doing? Hi, best friend Bill. How you doing, bud?
I'm great. Good to hear from you.
You and Randy are best friends?
Yeah,
come on, man.
I thought so, but I guess
now
not.
I feel
It's fine.
weird.
Hey,
all right.
no, I'm a mensch. Remember, you told me.
You are a
it is
mensch.
what it is.
That's right.
Hey, thank you very much. My question is for Mr. Dr. Ryan Berglund there. I've been seeing one of your colleagues, Dr. Man, I can't remember his name now.
One of his colleagues, yeah.
It doesn't matter. Anyway, Dr. Loria. Okay, I'm sure you've met him. You were in his office one day when I was there. Anyway, here's my issue. I don't have problem getting an erection, but when I'm sitting there with the girl that I've been with for a while, Alan, you've met her before, Donna, the crazy girl. Anyway, with
there's
her,
a lot of subtext here with Randy's call.
Keeping an erection with this girl, I have a bad problem. I can't keep it up with her. Is this just a mental thing, or should I check into low T, or what should I do? I don't understand what it is.
So it's not a desire problem, correct? It's a problem with the erection.
No, I desire plenty of. No, please, no desire issues at all.
So the definition of erectile dysfunction is the inability to obtain and maintain an erection sufficient for intercourse. So you have erectile dysfunction.
Okay.
So
you got to get it and keep it.
That's correct.
Anyone can take a reservation. You got to know how to hold the reservation.
That's funny, but here, when I was with somebody else, didn't have any problems. Did it 2-3 times in a row, like back to back to back. No issues whatsoever. Didn't even lose one after reaching the top of the mountain. It kept going, and with her, it's like she can get it up there, but then it don't want to stay there.
It may be less of a urologic problem than something else.
Maybe just because you've been with her a long time?
Yeah.
It's only been like 6 years, but I used to never have a problem. We'd move the bed, if you understand what I mean, across the room.
Get her some wigs.
I mean, I have to think it has to be a mental issue with between me and her, and the way she is so she doesn't like. I feel like she's like it's not a two-way street. She's one-sided. Like,
well, maybe you need to wear a wig.
A wig again? That was a good night, actually.
Yeah, see, All right. Well, listen, it's probably a mental thing, right? I mean,
arousal is complicated. I mean, it's more of a mental or psychological phenomenon. So. There are a lot of things that can impact arousal, and the problem is probably less with the erections than more of the psychology of arousal.
Okay, so you're saying it's basically her.
It's more complicated.
That's
than just
Randy's
a simple
takeaway.
erection problem.
Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking that the reason I'm thinking that, Alan, sir, is because the fact that I have no problem anywhere else with anybody else. It's only with her.
All right. I mean,
are you breaking up with your girlfriend on the air?
He's trying to find out.
And she's breaking up with him off the air.
Yeah, no, Alan, she thinks you're too liberal. She don't listen to the show. But anyway, I love you guys. You know
no wonder you can't get it up. Okay, listen. Thank you, Randy. Thank you, pal. There's Intense Randy. He's got a lot of thoughts.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
How long?
From Studio G, we've got a caller. Hello?
Okay, hypothetical, of course. How long after you get a sloppy from a person you don't know that well should you get tested for any type of like herpes or anything like that?
You're talking about oral favors.
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Dr. Bergman, familiar with the term sloppy.
Yeah, we're using the medical terminology here.
I could say lettuce, but yeah.
I actually thank you for the definition. I really didn't know what that was.
That's why I said it, because it's been a while. It's been 31 months.
God, that's a great question. Every time you do that, I don't think you need to get tested. I think a lot of it is it's kind of a clinical diagnosis. You know you have it. Essentially.
Are they blowing if you'll pardon the pun? Are they blowing monkeypox out of proportion? They said that
No.
that's not an STI, but they're seeing it primarily with gay men.
With men having
Obviously,
sex
there's a
with
lot
men.
of PR there where they don't want to have a repeat of the 80s, but they're like, this is the primary group we're seeing this in, and so we're asking them to kind of be careful and be aware of everything. But they're still also making a point to say it's not an STI, but it's being spread similarly.
It is concern. The amount of spread is very concerning. There is a lot of it out there.
It's on campus now. It's like it's kind of making the rounds.
The one thing that is a little bit different with this versus COVID is that the type of virus is very susceptible and robustly susceptible to vaccination.
Okay.
So I think it's a matter of just there is a vaccine. There's some production issues. There are issues with rolling it out, but this is a virus. It's related to. It's not the same thing, but it's related to smallpox, which was essentially eradicated by a vaccine.
They're starting to see polio back out there and all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
What's made COVID so difficult is that it's an RNA virus that can that mutates very easily.
Right.
And so this is not the same. Not the same thing. So yes, it is concerning, but fortunately, it should be responsive to vaccines or controllable with vaccine.
Let me find an email here. Question for Dr. Berglund. Do penis pumps work? And are they bad for your junk?
They do work.
And they are
and you can get a medical grade pump that's about $1,000, or you can get one on a website on a sex toy website that's about $50, and it's the same mechanism. It's the same.
So you're saying don't splurge on the penis pump?
I can't. I have to be careful what I say there, but it's the same technology either way, and it is safe. It's a reasonable form of. So
they do work?
Oh, they work.
I was always under the impression that you mean just to get going.
To get going, right?
No.
Well, they'll make it bigger.
So if you use the medical grade, it makes it bigger, and then if you apply the constrictive band around the base of the penis, it will stay with you.
Really?
So the idea is,
it's like a C ring then.
What is an erection? Erection. There's a misconception that there's a bone or there's something in there. There's some mammals do have bones.
Yeah.
The human penis does not have a bone. You have arteries that dilate, so a lot of blood flows in, and it's difficult for the blood to flow out.
The corpus cavernosum.
That's exactly right. That's correct.
Yeah.
And if you have a vascular problem or a nerve problem or some reason that doesn't happen, one way to replace that is you have a vacuum device that sucks blood into the corpus cavernosum.
Okay.
And then you apply constrictive ring to the base of the penis, and it can allow for a sustained erection. So
I assume they're asking, is it bad because they're worried about the thing with the C rings is keeping the blood there too long becomes an issue. I mean,
too long is an issue, but we're talking about, on the order of an hour, over an hour.
Yeah.
So just
not
as
a
long
day.
Yeah, exactly. Take the
If you get lightheaded, maybe
take the band off.
Yeah, right.
And get the kind of band that is easy to remove. Don't go with the metal ones.
Oh, good God.
Right? Don't go with
sounding rods?
Yeah, anything that you can't cut. Because they have the ones that connect versus the ones that are like the solid ring.
The medical grade ones have it. It's a snap-off mechanism, so
Yeah.
it comes off very easily. One of the classic things that we see in the ER every now and then, and we've all got, we've all experienced this, is someone who puts it into a ring, into a wedding ring or something like that. One's really.
You got more problems if you can fit it into a wedding ring.
But as soon as it goes up, it can't come down, and
Yeah.
that's a real problem. You have to use a ring cutter.
Wedding ring.
Alan, my husband had a vasectomy in 2019, turned in his 2 samples, and was in the clear a few months later. Should he get checked yearly or anything to make sure it hasn't grown back? He's in his mid-30s, and we're team no babies.
So if you're team no babies, there's no harm getting it checked.
Yeah.
The failure rate, if you follow the guidelines, which it sounds like he did, is a 1 in 2,000 failure rate.
Okay.
So
Because you and I have talked. I'm going to get snipped. And my thought is always, and I'm sure this is all part of the procedure, but like, how long do I wait? How, you have to send in a couple of pops, right? So that they know.
Even if the procedure goes perfectly, you'll still have living sperm beyond where you cut the tubes.
Right.
So, and the sperm live on the average about 90 days. And so we have patients come in at 90 days, essentially, give us a specimen. We have some guidelines that we use to pass the specimen or not. If you've passed, the failure rate's 1 in 2,000.
So at a year, you should be in the clear.
You're in the 1 in 2,000 chance that you're not. So
that's after a year.
If
not after the 90 days.
Yes. So short term, it's a much higher failure rate. Long term, it's a very low failure rate, but it can still happen. And so if you're in the, if you need to be absolutely 100% sure, there's no harm done. And I have this happen every now and then where someone comes in and say, I need to know with absolute certainty I'm not producing any.
Right.
Right. And then they go, because my wife's pregnant.
It's interesting.
It must be the failure rate, honey.
Before genetic testing, there were. Well, how do I say this? But there were a lot of failures that probably
chest.
weren't true failures.
Yeah, right.
If you get my drift. Now you can actually prove paternity.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Boy, before DNA testing, it was so easy to get away with everything.
Yeah.
Murder, infidelity,
Mm-hmm.
So there's a classic story about that. When the test was first developed, they ran, and there were some ethical issues here, but they ran the test on people that were in the lab where this was being developed, and there was a higher rate of unexpected paternity.
Yeah. Right.
than they would have expected. A lot higher rate of people whose father wasn't actually their
You
father.
are not the father, that kind of
Yes.
thing, yeah. I'm going to take a break. Dr. Ryan Berglund has made his triumphant return to the show. We have him for a short period of time, but it's been a long time coming. Again, if you'll pardon the pun. Is It Red is the segment. He's a surgical urologist from the Cleveland Clinic. If you're new to the show, he's got hopefully answers if you've got a question about what's going on down there, some weird stuff. You can call. We'll take your calls, 216-578-1007 or 800-348-1007. You can text 35192. You can email me as well. We'll try to get to as many as we can. Before